absolutely. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. We may have some other people popping in. You'll see there are many of us. It is just like the Brady Bunch today. But you'll get to meet really our entire faculty today in the undergraduate education department. So what we'll do is we'll I'll have everybody introduce themselves. We'd love to hear from you and what your interests are. We'll be sharing with you a little bit about all of the different programs that we offer and our partnerships, what our field experiences look like. We have several professional development school experiences as well. And feel free to ask us questions at any time. If anything pops up and you're not quite sure what we're talking about, or that's something that's of real interest to you, please. We want this to be informal and really more of a discussion so that you can get the most from this. So I'll start. I am Suzanne Galella, and I'm the chairperson of the undergraduate education department. Just finished my 16th year. Before coming to Wilkes, I was a special education teacher in the Abington Heights School District, and I also coordinate our student teaching program. So I work with our seniors. So when you're ready to student teach at the end of the program, those are typically the classes that I teach. And then in the summer, I'm actually starting one in about a week. I teach our assessment class for special education. I do that in the summer, and Karen Fry, who you're going to also meet, teaches that during the school year. So I'll open it up. Since I mentioned your name, Karen, why don't you go next?
Oh, I think she's on mute.
Oh, there you go.
So my name is Karen Fry. I apologize for the mask, but I am sitting in the waiting room in a hospital right now, so I have to be masked. I just finished my 7th year at the university, and prior to that I have 35 years of experience in public education, and my expertise, if you will, is in special education. So there are certain courses that every student must take who wants to become a teacher, so you'll likely have me for some of those. And then there are other courses that are specific to students who want to focus on special education. Wilkes has been approved by the Department of Education to offer special education pre-K through 12 as a major, and we're working on developing that program right now. So if you're interested in that, you could certainly start with us in the fall and start taking some of the preliminary courses. Most of the courses that would be added would be later in your 4 years of instruction anyway. So that's not going to hold you back. We are approved by the Department of Ed, but now we have to get through the process for approval at Wilkes. So that should hopefully happen in the fall. I'm also the advisor for our local chapter of the Education Honor Society. It's an international honor society, and we have some specific requirements to participate in that, but it's a service-oriented organization that connects with our education club. So it's basically a committee within the education club, so any student can participate in the club, and then you need to meet certain requirements to be part of the Honor Society committee, if you will. I'm gonna send you right on to Mrs. Castor because she's the advisor for the education club.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Castor, Tracy Castor, and I just completed my 7th year at Wilkes University as well. Prior to coming to Wilkes, I taught in public education in a variety of places. So I've taught anywhere from Belgium to Germany, not in the German schools or the Belgian schools, but in American schools, and also in public schools in the United States. My husband was in the military, so I spent a lot of time traveling around and seeing, different ways people teach. So it's kind of something that I bring to the classroom. As Dr. Fry mentioned, I'm also the advisor for the education club, and we do a lot of fun activities, or we at least try to. One of them being our newly designed t-shirt that we just got last week. So we do t-shirt designs. We make Jared boxes that we send to the children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And we earned money to go to a conference as well, a spring conference, which was canceled this year, but hopefully in future years we'll be able to go. So I'll send it off to Dr. Diane Polchek and she can introduce herself.
Thanks, Professor Castor. Appreciate that. Students, tell me your names again, please.
I'm Amy.
Amy. Hi, Amy. And?
I'm Evelyn.
Evelyn. Great. So Amy and Evelyn, either one, what area are you interested in? Are you interested in elementary, middle school, secondary, special ed? Just so I have a general idea.
For me, probably elementary.
Okay. Thanks, Amy. Evelyn?
Yeah, same for me. The early years, elementary,
Okay,
early
good.
childhood.
Good. I can focus my introduction a little bit better that way. I've been at Wilkes a long time. I'm the most senior member of the School of Education. I've been at Wilkes for years, a long time. As a matter of fact, I was an undergraduate at Wilkes, and I did graduate work at Temple and at the University of California in Santa Barbara. I lived in California. And guess what? Doctorate at Lehigh, back to Pennsylvania, and back working at Wilkes, my alma mater. I really must love this place. I do, and I'm hoping that our Liv, who you'll meet in a little while, is going to come back to Wilkes for graduate school too, maybe teach here someday. But anyway, Amy and Evelyn, I've been a long time here at Wilkes. I teach courses like educational psychology, which gives you a rundown on what to expect with psychology applied to education. I teach methods courses such as the arts in early child and elementary education, which I adore. And I do reading courses like applied reading strategies, which is wonderful. And also a course that deals with teaching diverse learners, whether it's diverse learners linguistically or culturally. So I do graduate courses as well. So if you come to Wilkes and you go on to the graduate course level, you'll see me there as well. One of the things I really love to do is help students work directly with children, and we all have our finger in that pot. Ms. Spencer will tell you more about that in her role too. But one of the things that we have at Wilkes that's very, very cool is the opportunity to work with children directly. And in two of my courses, the arts and early childhood and also applied reading strategies, we have programs in the summer and in the spring whereby you can do just that at Wilkes. And we have summer camps that kids love. They're thematic. We transform the second floor of our building into just wonderful experiences for kids, like camping in the wonderful world of R.L. Stein and travel around the world. And guess what? Even this summer, we're going to have that for the Reading Academy, for Applied Reading Strategies. I'm working right now with some parents and students and the students registered in our course and children from grades kindergarten through 5. And we're going to do online Reading Academy. I've got it all planned out, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But I love being at Wilkes. I've been here for a long time for a reason. I believe in the school. I love our faculty and staff and our students. And Amy and Evelyn, I hope you give it a serious consideration as you listen to us today and as we all share ideas together. Oh, and I love to travel too. That's one thing I adore doing. My trip to Italy was supposed to be May 21st, but it didn't work out that way, but it's scheduled to May 20th next year. It's going to be a blast. I was in Greece last summer, and hopefully soon, hopefully, believe it or not, Dr. Galella and I are really looking forward to a trip to China so we can start planning that and getting our students engaged in more international works. So, okay, so let's see. Hey, there's a professor. How about you, Amy? Ready?
Me? Yeah, sure.
Amy thought I was talking about her.
Yeah, Hi, I'm Amy Nashko. I am probably the most recent hire in the undergrad department. I just finished my second year at Wilkes. I have a background in early childhood. So for almost 20 years, I was a practicing teacher in public schools, pre-K and kindergarten teacher in New Jersey. I also was an adjunct at 2 different universities in New Jersey and teaching in pre-K, New Jersey as pre-K 3 certification. So I came to Wilkes 2 years ago because they started their online program. So Evelyn, we have talked on the phone and through email because Evelyn will be in our online pathway program. So it's nice to put a face to the name, Evelyn.
Yes.
So I came on 2 years ago to start the online pathway, which is a program that is a degree completion pathway that you can come in with some credits or an earned associate's degree and complete your degree online. So Evelyn's already registered and ready to go. So
I
she has
am.
already chosen Wilkes.
Evelyn, what course are you taking in the fall? You taking some good courses?
Yes, I'm
great.
taking two. I'm taking history,
Mhm.
and I forget the other one. Somewhere around.
Yeah, I would have the records too, but not at my fingertips.
Oh, that's great.
I know it's a history.
That's wonderful.
It might be Mrs. Castor's
I
191.
was gonna say it's. I think it's an education one, if I'm not mistaken.
It might be the integrating technology.
Yes,
I got
that
you
is
there.
it.
Yep. So
Lucky you to have Mrs. Castor. She's wonderful. Lucky.
Yes, so you will be with Mrs. Castor this fall.
Perfect.
Well, now you can put a face to the name, you know. So.
Exactly. Yes.
You're gonna get to meet Ace.
And throw
Both
darts
of
at it. No.
We're gonna have Ace featured on your classes again. Do you think, Mrs. Castor? And Amy and Evelyn, Ace is someone special. Mrs. Castor's golden retriever. Is he there?
Yeah, he's there. I'll see if I can bring
Lounging,
him up.
probably.
Yeah.
And I will add that we do have a lot of field experiences embedded in our courses. We're actually hopefully, if everything goes well, in the fall starting a early childhood PDS. So professional development school is the courses will be taught at the site, and Tracy has been, Mrs. Castor has been doing that at a local elementary school, and Dr. Franz Fry has been doing it at another local school for our special ed courses. But embedding that professional development experience where you're taking the course, also having the field hours, but then also embedded really with the professor right there, having the courses be taught right in the field. It's a great kind of link, having all of those things, the school, the university, and the student all there at the same time. It's kind of a unique experience. So I'm hopefully going to be starting at one of the area childcare centers to foster that PDS. And Evelyn, you teach in one of the area childcare centers.
I do.
Well,
I
right?
teach at ABC Kitty Campus in Pittston. We have 3 different locations, one in Exeter, Pittston, and in Old Forge in Lackawanna County.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, that's wonderful. How about Miss Spencer? Would you like to go next?
Sure. My name is Miss Spencer. I do the field experience, so I find all the placements for the students who have to go out into the schools. And hopefully, you know, you get some experience in the schools while you're there. I spend most of my time on campus, but I do the clearances and the things like that. I also teach the Ed 310 class, which is physical education, health and safety. And I'm also the women's golf coach. So if you play golf, you can join our team.
Come and see you.
That's exactly right. And then Olivia, I guess your turn.
Liv.
Yay.
Hi, my name's Olivia Caraballo. I actually just graduated from Wilkes with my BA in middle level education with a concentration in English, reading, and language arts, and a dual cert in special ed. And I just had my first job interview, which I'm waiting to find out about. And I can genuinely say that the Wilkes Education Department is by far the best on campus. It's my favorite place to be, and I'm so happy to still be a part of it even post-graduation.
And we're so happy you're here, Liv. We rely on Olivia for so much. Having her participate. Liv, I have a couple more things up my sleeve for you, so you're going to be hearing more from me.
I'm your girl. I'm ready.
Yeah, this is what we do. But it really, I agree. I think we would all say that it's a very special place to be. And we will certainly share more about the program and our field experiences. But let me ask both of you ladies, Amy and Evelyn, do you have specific questions for us? Anything you're not quite sure about? Anything that we can help you with?
So I decided that I'm definitely coming in the fall.
Yay.
You'll be seeing me, yes.
Wonderful.
I'm very excited. I put down undecided for grade level. I think I'm probably going to be doing elementary, but I'm still kind of unsure. So what kind of classes will I be taking when I come there? They're like general classes for education. I'm not sure.
Yes. So when you start as a freshman, all of our freshman students have core classes, so general education requirements. So they would include classes like sciences. So maybe you're going to take a biology or an earth and environmental science. Also 6 credits of math. And we have math that is run by our math department, but specifically for elementary education teachers. We also have world history and American history. So these are classes, Amy, that all students at Wilkes take because it is a liberal arts core. So you will be starting with those, but you would also start with some of our 100 level education courses. So if you're not quite sure what area you're interested in, that is perfectly fine, because we do have a core set of education courses that all of our students take, regardless of the track that they choose. So whether it be pre-K4, middle level, secondary, eventually special ed as a standalone major, we have courses that are called effective teaching, which is our Ed 190 class, and that includes a 40-hour field experience. So you're really learning, I will say, it's a broad overview of the field of education. And then as you go deeper into your courses, you'll have a much deeper dive into very specific content areas, whether it be classroom management, assessment, as Dr. Polachek was talking, cultural and linguistic differences. We also have 9 credits built in for special education. Even if you're not interested in a special education cert, you'll still have that knowledge base. So starting as a freshman, that Ed 190, also Ed 191, which is integrating technology, which Evelyn, I believe you're taking in the fall with,
Yes.
with Mrs. Pastor. So that's using educational technology and how that can be used in the classroom. One additional 100 level course that our pre-K4 students, if they are not pursuing special education, they are not required to take Ed 180, which is educational psychology. If you are pursuing special education, that would be a class that would be required. The reason straight pre-K4 students don't need that is because we've built those competencies into some other classes. But as a freshman, that first year, they would be some of the ed courses that you would be ready to take.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Sure. How about other questions? Anything at all?
I guess my question kind of would be too, if I'm interested in also like looking into it, like a special education, like pathway as well, can those classes be added into, you know, my early childhood degree as well?
Absolutely. Karen, do you want to talk about that? Or would you like me to?
I'll try unless it gets too noisy here, and then I'll
Okay,
ask you.
that's fine. Sure.
So right now, you can do it as an add-on certification, and it requires a few extra courses.
Okay.
Some students do that as an extra semester. Some do 18 credits a semester to try and keep it within the 4 years. Some do some summer courses. Olivia might be able to talk a little more about that as well, because she's doing the add-on certification. Once we get the approval for special education as a major, you would still take some courses that would be in the pre-K4 program. And you would still, we didn't mention this yet, but within our pre-K4 program, you also automatically earn a minor in reading by the way that we have it established. And so that will continue in the special ed program. Once it becomes a major, you will still earn automatically that reading minor.
Okay.
Because so much of special education is focused on reading and reading difficulties.
Right. Okay.
Great. Liv, do you want to talk a little bit more about your experience as the dual cert candidate? Oh, I may have lost her.
I think she's frozen.
She looks frozen in time.
She's frozen.
There she is.
Oh, there she is.
She's back.
Liv,
Sorry, I don't
that's
know
okay.
what happened. It told me my connection is unstable and then it went away. Sorry.
That's happened to
The
me
joys
several
of
times
technology.
today. I
Truly.
know. Liv, do you want to share your experience as a dual cert
Sure.
student and what that looked
Sure.
like?
Sure.
Thank
So
you.
I was actually a transfer student to Wilkes. My original major was English with a minor in secondary ed. And because I was an honors student when I transferred in, I was in EDSP 210, which is a class that everybody takes. And it normally doesn't have field hours with it, because of my honors requirements, I did. And I had one day in a special education classroom, and the very next day I went and changed my major. So I clearly liked it a lot.
Yep.
And that's kind of like where I am. In the daycare setting, I work with toddlers a lot.
So
But I had a few children that had like autism, and it just, the differences, like differentiating like curriculum I had to do and quirks and things that I had to do differently for that particular child made me think like, okay, like this is kind of cool to make that connection with the child. And I had that experience, and it's kind of like still stuck in me a little. So like I thought about doing a little bit more of that.
I can't recommend special ed enough. That's actually what my job interview was for a special education job. And through your different field experiences, if you do go the special ed track, you'll work a lot with the Graham Academy, which is a school just for children who have autism and emotional challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And you build really good connections there. And because it's such an individualized program, you really learn how to hone your skills in that area.
Right.
And you make really good connections with the schools too. So
Cool.
I'm sure if I do that in EDSP 225, that's another class that everybody is required to take. You have actual field hours in it. So you could easily just wait until you take that class and have a field experience in a special ed class before you make the change.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
Good
you.
question, though. And I would let you know, both Amy and Evelyn, that the majority of our pre-K4 students are dual cert students. And now with our change in certification bands, so special ed used to always be a birth through 21 year cert. So when Dr. Fry and I went through our programs, we were grandfathered into our cert that we can service students of all different various differences from the time they're born until they're 21 years of age, because children who are diagnosed with special needs can stay in the public school systems until they're 21. And then several years ago, those grade bands changed. So Olivia is one who, because her primary certification was middle level, her special ed certification is basically birth through 8th grade. And then there was a separate track, which was 7 through 12. So if you were a secondary student, so at Wilkes we offer 9 secondary programs, and several of our secondary students will also add special ed on. So their special ed cert would be grades 7 through 12. And now the state has gone back to that encompassing grade band, or that age band, I should say. So now any new students starting this fall, if you choose to add special ed on, your special ed cert will be birth through 21 years of age again.
And when you're in your special ed classes, if that's the track you on, you'll be working in the lower school and in the high school. So I've worked with second graders and I've worked with 21-year-olds. So you really get like
The whole feel, not just younger grades or older grades.
an all-encompassing view of what you could potentially be working with if it's the job you choose to take.
Right.
Good.
Which is great that you get all of those experiences, because we have several students, Amy, who will come in and they want education, but they're not quite sure what track they want.
Yeah.
Or we will have students who start in middle level and decide, you know what, I think I want pre-K4, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes students are worried, or their families are worried that they're going to be behind, but you won't be. Because again, those first few courses that you're taking, regardless of the track that you're interested in, whether it be pre-K4, middle level, or secondary, there are certain core classes that you're going to need even in our education track. So you wouldn't be behind at all.
Okay, good.
How about other questions? Before we look, since you're both interested in what you think is pre-K 4, we can focus a little bit more time on that. But any additional questions that you have for us?
When do you start student teaching again? Was it like freshman year, sophomore year?
So your student teaching is your last semester at Wilkes. So your senior year, that's when you will student teach. So that last semester before graduation. So the majority of our students student teach in the spring semester, but we do have students who will choose to graduate a semester early if they take 18 credits a semester and typically several summer classes. Or sometimes we have students who will take an extra semester because they add on an additional cert, or maybe they've decided a little bit later in their career that they want to change into education. So you can student teach either in the fall or spring, but again, that would be your last semester.
Okay.
We typically, most of our students will student teach within Luzerne, Lackawanna, or Wyoming counties within those school districts.
Okay.
And basically, field experience begins as soon as you take your first education course, like Ed 190. So the field experience, going into the classrooms, going into the schools, that starts immediately with the first courses that you're taking to go in to see what's happening in the classrooms.
Great.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have one. With my
Sure.
teach pathway, like right now this semester I'm only in 2 classes. Now with my financial aid packet that I got, now is that going to defer my financial aid because I'm only taking the 2 classes at 6 credits and not 12?
Amy? I will pass that to you. Oh, you're muted.
Yep, sorry.
There you go.
I always say it's a financial aid question, so I always take a deep breath and pause because
I know.
I don't know exactly what your letter or your financial aid package says.
Right.
I do know that anything through your FAFSA and financial aid package, you can apply some of that for part-time students. It's not like it goes completely away just because you're not at that 12 credits.
Okay, yeah, because I think that's what they said yesterday in the financial aid part of the seminars. Oh, I can't talk tonight. That like I would probably get like a chunk of it, just not all of it.
Right, but the Teach does cover a good portion of the tuition for the online pathway. So your Teach program does that. We do have the option if you do want to or have that. Teach only covers 15 credits a year. So that's pretty much your 2 classes each semester and then the 1 in the summer.
Okay.
That's usually how people shake it out. We do have the option if you wanted to add on, you can, it's still a part-time program, but you can do up to 24 credits in 1 year. So that means that you can take 3 classes each semester, fall, spring, and 2 in the summer. That would be your maximum load. So if you do look at the financial aid package and you want to take an additional class as things go down and you feel that comfortable with doing that. But yeah, I don't know exactly
for right now I'll probably stick with 2 till I get back in the swing of things.
Sure.
And online is different than actually in classes, and I think I did send you an email about that at one point of possibly taking classes in person as well as not totally behind the computer, so I can meet other people in my department. So.
Absolutely. And I answered that. I said absolutely, you would absolutely have the possibility of doing that. It's just the scheduling of those classes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So our traditional program is kind of geared towards that traditional student that can have the Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes for an hour or so, or Tuesday, Thursday for an hour and a half in the middle of the day. So that's why the online pathway provides kind of the working adult, the flexibility of being able to work all day and then access the classes. Not many, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but not many of our education classes are offered in the evening. I don't know if there are certain ones that are always, but There's not many.
There aren't that many. I would say years ago, we had more options in the evening. We used to do a day and an evening section, but not many of ours are offered in the evening. I think actually we have one, our EDSP 210, which all of our students take, teaching students with special needs. It's our introductory course to special education. This semester, that is an evening class. That's a 6:30 to 9:15. So Evelyn, if you choose face-to-face classes, like if you see that it works with your schedule, even if it's during the day and you're able to get time off from work, or maybe it's a class that meets once a week later in the afternoon. We do have several courses that start at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So we do a 4 to 6:30 range. You know, any of those, you're more than welcome to take
Okay.
if they fit into your schedule and you think it will work. But
Right.
financial aid, I would definitely reach out to your financial aid advisor and ask the specifics. I know all of us will say that. We're very hesitant and don't like to speak about financial aid, not
Right.
because we don't want to help you. And we will certainly make sure if you're having difficulty connecting with someone, we can certainly help with that connection process. We just wouldn't want to give you any information that isn't accurate.
Okay. Yeah, I have to reach out to them. I didn't do that yet because I kind of wanted to see what yesterday's meeting was about and see if that answered any of my questions. So probably within the next like few days or next week, I will reach out to them and to see, because I don't want, you know, to not be able to afford it, or, you know, financially, like if that cuts in half, like my spending and X amount of things I'll have to put aside. So
Right.
I have a question for Amy. Amy, I'm wondering, what has been your experience with children? You're interested in the elementary and early childhood education major. And can you share some of that with us and maybe why you want to be a teacher in that area?
Well, basically, I just had a really good experience at my elementary school. When I was younger, I definitely kind of struggled academically, and it was just really the teachers that helped me become a better student and really like love learning, basically. So I kind of want to be that for kids, you know, help them when they're struggling, and really just care about them, basically, and help them. So
Good enough. That's fabulous.
that's
Good.
really why.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. Good for you. A woman who knows what she wants. I like that.
That's right. Amy, where did you go to school? What school system did you go through?
So Lehigh Valley. It was Lincoln
Okay.
School, like around the Allentown area.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know that area well. I went to Lehigh
Wonderful.
for my doctorate.
Oh
I went
wow.
to a lot of time in Allentown. Lived in Allentown for a while.
Mm-hmm.
In Bethlehem.
Okay. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Any other questions?
Good.
I don't think so. I can't think of any right now.
I can't either. I think I'm
No,
okay.
we're putting you all on the spot here.
There are very cool
And what I will
opportunities at Wilkes. Sorry, go ahead, Suzanne.
No, go ahead, Diane, please.
I just wanted to talk about other opportunities that Evelyn and Amy might be interested in at some point in time.
Perfect.
I know spring break's not easy for you, Evelyn, sometimes, but in case it is sometimes, or Amy, you might be interested in what the alternative spring break does. We have programs in Costa Rica and other places around the world that you can travel to, which is very good. Service trips and such. Very cool. I love that. We have Professor Andy Miller and Professor Jeff Stratford in political science and biology, respectively, who take students to Costa Rica every year. And it's a wonderful, it's life-changing to do it. Not very expensive, I think, but worthwhile. And this past time when they went, well, actually a year ago, they did some exotic bird watching because Dr. Stratford in biology just loves his birds. And they saw some wild macaws and parrots and birds in the rainforest. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, Liv, did you travel anywhere on alternative spring break at all?
I did not, but I have a lot of friends who did, and I know that the trip to the Dominican Republic is actually in schools there, so working on English acquisition. So I know that those are really, really cool trips too.
That is cool. I know that Dr. Miller and Dr. Stratford, I think, visited schools at one time, had some volunteer work there for our students to do. And last year they helped cleaned up some of the trails in the rainforest in the national park there.
Wow.
Very cool, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
It is. And I would echo that. Like the experiences that you can have at Wilkes for being, I'll say, a smaller liberal arts school, I think are very impressive. Within our education department, as well as the larger university-wide. Our field experiences, our professional development school experiences, you heard a little bit about that. We have a professional development school at the Graham Academy, which Dr. Franz Fry takes the lead on that for us. And then we also have our elementary PDS, and Mrs. Castor has been instrumental in that. And that is really interesting. Trace, do you want to share a little bit about what that looks like so they can understand that when you get to basically your junior year?
Sure. So we have a partnership with Heights Murray Elementary School, which is about probably a little over a mile from where the campus is. And we have it set up where when you take our reading course, which is Literacy Foundations 1, you take it in the fall. There's Literacy Foundations 2 in the spring. And then we also offer our math methods course and classroom management. So what happens is I pair you up with a teacher at Heights Murray, and every Wednesday you attend school and you go there from bell to bell. So you go there from the beginning of school till the end of school, and you're with your teacher, and you lesson plan together. You decide, what you're going to do the next week. You get to know the kids. It's really exciting experience where you can really integrate yourself into the classroom and get to know the kids on a more personal level. It used to be where we would only be there for an hour each week. So we managed to work the schedule so that everybody gets to go for the whole day. So if you have me for one course, or you have me for 2 courses, you stay the whole day. And then what I try to do then too is keep you with the same teacher for the next semester. So it's great because you can see the growth of the students from the beginning of the school year till the end of the school year. And most of my students, they say that that's their favorite experience. Sometimes even they'll go back and they'll do their student teaching at the school as well. I had one student where she took courses out of sequence. So she completed all of the courses that she needed in the fall, and then she stayed with the kindergarten teacher to do her student teaching. And it was just a really nice way for her to get to know the kids even better, and it gave her more responsibilities, and the teacher allowed her to do more things with the students that she probably wouldn't have let another student teacher do. So let her really think outside the box and do some creative things with the kids. Not to rattle on too long, but like she did a whole science unit with the kids, and here it's kindergartners, and they used iPads and they researched animals. And after 6 weeks, then she invited all of my PDS students to come in, and anybody that wanted to come in, administrators came in, and the kids did a whole presentation. And the student teacher got the kids safari hats and made them t-shirts with their name tags on it, and they had their animals, and they knew exactly what they were going to talk about with their animals. They had safari cars. It was just amazing. And the teacher just was floored at what the kindergartners could do if you just, give them, the opportunity.
And hone in probably on something they enjoyed, animals and things like that.
Exactly.
And that program, is that just with the literacy classes, or is that an extra add-on club type thing?
No, it's embedded into the course. So
Okay.
It's embedded into the reading course, the math course, and then also the classroom management course. So, I mean, for you, it probably would be a different experience where I believe we use probably your center as a focus. We've done that in the past, I want to say, but it's something we can easily work through. But it's
It
exciting.
really is amazing. And Trace, I was lucky enough to come up to that kindergarten class when they when they did that. If you could have seen these kindergarten kids who really, they did their own research, they did their own presentations, to think that 5 and 6-year-olds could do this, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they enjoyed it so much.
And they did. And this student, she introduced learning centers in the classroom. She did literacy centers, she did math centers, and the teacher said, oh, this isn't going to work. And she said, just watch and see. And I mean, it was like clockwork. The kids knew exactly what to do. They were on task. They were focused. It was wonderful to see.
That's like sometimes my toddlers just surprise me on things that they do within the classroom. I'm like, you could do that? Like, I don't know that. So then like I use that for next week's lesson, or we build upon it, you know. So it's cool, you know, when you get that little bit of freedom in their minds, it's like they'll take it off and go with it.
Yep. So
It's true. Sometimes we don't give them all the credit that they deserve.
Yep.
They can do much more if we just allow them those opportunities and kind of help shape it so they know what the expectations are. And again, I think those PDS experiences are crucial. So we have them in special ed, we have them in our elementary and early childhood. As Amy Nashko spoke a little bit about, we're starting a new PDS with a child care center, Illuminations in Kingston. We're hoping to start that this fall. It will all depend on what our COVID-19 pandemic looks like. But eventually, if not this fall, we will be there. And then our hope is to grow that into our middle and secondary program as well. So those are all experiences that are above and beyond what the state recommends for field experiences. So we want to give you as much time as we can in the classroom, so that you can put into practice all of the different things that you're learning in the Wilkes classroom, and have as many hours as you can before you student teach. And student teaching is a full semester. So if you are student teaching in the spring, as soon as you come back in January, typically you're on campus with me or online with me for 2 weeks, just getting things ready for interviews. So Liv can talk about, we worked on our resume and our cover letter and fine-tuning our philosophy of education and classroom management plan. Having some guest speakers come in. We have our pharmacy students come in and talk to us about the health and safety of our students, particularly if we don't have a nurse with us all the time in our placements. We also have educational attorneys who will come in and speak to us. We'll look at teacher contracts. So when the time comes and you're interviewing, you know what a contract looks like. And they all really vary depending on the district and the schools, so that you have some working knowledge of that. In addition to our student teaching, we're talking about different things that we offer. We also offer, sorry here, I have my little daughter here with me.
Rosie.
Right,
hi, Rosie. There she is.
We also offer a student teaching placement every spring in Arizona. So we started this program this would have been its 6th year. Unfortunately, our Arizona experience was canceled due to our pandemic, but we have actually several different school districts that we work with. And we've just had we've really developed a wonderful relationship and partnership with particularly 4 school districts within the state of Arizona. And our students, I typically will fly with them, get them all settled, and then they spend half of their spring semester in Arizona. So they're housed with families from the school district. It follows basically the same suit as it does in Pennsylvania. They have a cooperating teacher. We have a good friend of ours who used to be the dean of the School of Education at Slippery Rock University, who has since retired and spends half of his year in Arizona. So he works as our supervisor for our students and another area of support for them. And as Dr. Polachek said, we are looking at international experiences as well. So we're trying to offer a variety of experiences within Pennsylvania as well as outside of Pennsylvania and even outside of the United States. So there's lots of opportunities if these are things that you're interested in that you would be able to pursue here at Wilkes.
Wow, great.
Anything else that anyone would like to add? Anything that we're forgetting? Or again, if there's any additional questions that you're thinking of, anything at all?
I have a question for probably Tracy. I think you said you did the education club. How do we go about, looking into that if we are interested in joining?
Well, usually at the beginning of the academic year, we have club day that takes place on campus.
Okay.
And so students are able to go and visit the different clubs that are available on campus. And usually we'll formulate an email list, and then we meet every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, usually during club hours. But I'm sure we would be willing to have people that, if you can't meet, you can at least keep up with the different activities that we have, and then perhaps you would be able to participate in some way. Some of the things we've done in the past are we've gone to Heights Murray. They had a Wells Fargo Day of Caring where they received a grant. And so we went and we helped paint murals and things at the school as a club. We also opened it up to the PDS students to come and help as well. So there's different activities on the weekends, where if you're working, you might be able to participate in something like that. But if it's something you're interested in, you could always shoot me an email, and then I can send it to the secretary, and then the secretary will put you on the email list. So at least you keep up to date with different things that we have going on, or any fundraisers that you would like to participate in.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Amy and Evelyn, just so you know, after today, you'll get an email from me, and I'll share all of our contact information. So with everyone that you've met today, you'll have their email addresses, you'll have their office direct lines. So if you think of any questions in the meantime, you can certainly reach out to any one of us, and we would be happy to help support in any way that we can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining today. Amy and Evelyn, it's so nice to have a small group because we really feel like we get to know you. And we're thrilled that both of you have decided to come to Wilkes. So we're excited to be working with you. And I thank all of my colleagues for joining in today and being such a great help in answering questions. And again, I'll share our contact information with you, and don't hesitate. If you have any questions throughout the summer, please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining in today, everyone. I hope you have a good evening and stay healthy.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.